an ADOS dude. There was an ADOS dude named Bill something. Bill the Icon.
Right. Bring up all the dirty laundry.
Yeah, thanks for tapping in. Wanted to come to you this afternoon really quickly, fresh off the live that I dropped last night in which we put Vlad under the microscope. And I wake up this morning and I hit my Twitter and across my timeline, I peep Mike Baggs right here. He tweeted out something directed at Vlad and Vlad TV, and he asked the question, why is Vlad interviewing a literal high-ranking white supremacist from the Aryan Brotherhood on a hip-hop site? What's next? The leader of the KKK? And as you see here, Vlad dropped an interview last night, or this morning, I don't know exactly. I know it was recently dropped. And he's interviewing former Aryan Brotherhood leader Michael Thompson. I went ahead and dropped the link to my live, of course. But Vlad chimed in, and he didn't answer the question. He just clarified some details about Michael Thompson. And Vlad says, actually, he's a former member who turned on the Aryan Nation and testified against them, which put a lot of the Aryan Nation leaders in prison. Mike Baggs again responded, former. David Duke is a former Grand Wizard of the KKK. Maybe you should interview him next. Him turning on his gang so he doesn't have to face his full life sentence really doesn't mean shit. Plus, he still continued criminal activities when they let him out. So yeah, Vlad didn't answer the question. Why are you interviewing a white supremacist, former white supremacist, high-ranking Aryan Brotherhood leader on a hip-hop site? You know, not saying you can't interview him, Vlad. You can interview whoever you like, but I thought you were a hip-hop culture aficionado. This guy's not an entertainer. This guy's not an actor. He's not a musician. He's not a producer. He's not an ex-manager. He has nothing to do with hip-hop. He has nothing to do with entertainment. And his celebrity status is questionable. He's not a celebrity. So I'm wondering why Vlad couldn't answer the question. And I'm guessing this is Vlad's foray into going outside the box and continually feeding off of hip hop. But again, your site and your platform is based on hip hop, and you're introducing your members to Aryan Brotherhood leaders. And not only, you know, did this guy do 45 years in prison for a double murder that, of course, he says he did not commit. But still in all, he did 45 years in prison. He was denied parole over a dozen times. Was finally released in prison in 2019. Supposedly denounced the gang in the 80s, turned against the gang. Was finally released in 2019. And as you can see here, he was recently charged with EDD fraud in California. You can see the headline here. Ex-Aryan Brotherhood leader charged with massive California unemployment fraud scheme after being paroled from a murder case. The co-conspirators met in prison. How original. Here's the article from the Mercury News, and we'll just skim through this really quickly. They talk about Michael Thompson before he was freed from prison for more than 40 years behind bars. He promised the parole board that he would dedicate his life to philanthropy through his self-help program called Live, Learn, and Prosper. But according to authorities, Thompson found prosperity through something else entirely, a massive fraud scheme that raked in millions through fraudulent business loans and Employment Development Department applications, otherwise known as EDD. You know, the EDD was in play during the pandemic. So now Thompson is back behind bars, along with his 45-year-old co-defendant, facing a 33-count criminal complaint. And so he's now 70. This was reported last year. So he turned 70 last October. And they say that he is probably the most well-known ex-Aryan Brotherhood member. He joined in the 70s, dropped out in the 80s. Granted public interviews about the notoriously secretive prison gang. So he's just basically, started snitching on the gang, testified against his members. He billed himself as a gang expert. He bragged about special treatment that he received from his status while he was in Los Angeles County Jail. Authorities served him a whole Thanksgiving turkey, and they gave him the knives to cut it. So this is who he's dealing with right now on the channel. Again, a hip-hop channel. He go on to say in his parole hearing, of course, Thompson denied the Orange County District Attorney's contention that he played an active role in the 1973 double murder that sent him to prison. And all he did, according to him, was warn the co-defendant that the victims were plotting against him. Right? Sounds like conspiracy, bro. Even if you didn't participate in the actual crime. So now Thompson stands accused not of violent crimes, but exploitative white-collar offenses such as bilking homeless people out of unemployment or signing up a fake Southern California firefighting company for $1.5 million in business loans. According to the complaint, Thompson and his co-defendant, whom he met in prison, convinced 16 people to give up their personal information to benefit the alleged scheme. So I guess his co-defendant was his business partner, and his business partner led him down the wrong path. And this is what he's saying on the podcast that I was peeping on Amazon called Damage Done. And so they're saying that his story to his victims was, we're going to apply for unemployment for you. We'll take a fee and we'll give you the rest. But according to the DA, Susan Cromes, most participants never got any of the unemployment. So apparently he's out. They tried to keep him in. He was briefly held without bail on a parole violation on top of the 33-count complaint. And they're also trying to hold together a 1986 double murder conviction that Thompson was a key witness. But according to the authorities, his character is not going to allow his testimony, probably to stand. And this current case probably is going to also put that in jeopardy. That was a case that involved him turning on the gang when the gang decided to murder Richard Barnes because his son had dropped out of the gang and also agreed to testify against his gang members. So that was the straw that broke the camel's back. With Michael Thompson, he testified against the gang members, and they put Curtis Floyd Price behind bars. Price has been appealing his conviction and death sentence for more than 30 years. In recent court records, he described Thompson as a liar, an exaggerator, whose multiple hearsay claims about Hickey's murder never should have been given to jurors. In their response, state prosecutors hardly defended Thompson against these attacks, noting that he testified to avoid potential racketeering charges and in the hopes of pleasing parole authorities down the line. Now, that was something that Michael Thompson vehemently denied in the podcast, and which I briefly was able to check out this morning. And, they built his story as some sort of story of redemption. And here it is right here, the Aryan Brotherhood and Redemption. Michael Thompson returns. And that's the podcast there, The Damage Done. He vehemently denied testifying against his gang members for any sort of lenience. But right here, the prosecutors say that the only reason he testified was to avoid potential racketeering charges and in the hopes of pleasing parole authorities down the line. It was hopes. Now, he probably didn't curry much favor because, again, this was in 1985. He wasn't released until 2019. But he did it with the hopes that he would receive some leniency. He also says, in sum, no rational juror could have convicted anyone of anything solely on the word of the admitted perjurer and schemer Thompson. So, sounds like even the prosecution is not offering any defense of Michael Thompson's character. So again, yeah, this is who Vlad has on the show. He never did answer the question as to why on a hip hop site would you feature an Aryan Brotherhood, not only member, but leader. And he claims to be of Native American heritage. And we just want to read really quickly because somebody in the comments asked the question, who said Vlad was hip hop? Right here, Latinos are the new KKK, allegedly. Asks, who said Vlad was hip hop? Mike Baggs responded, he did. Shit, he says there is literally nothing celebrity or urban about interviewing a white supremacist who was a high-ranking member of the Aryan Brotherhood. And this is Vlad, a screenshot of Vlad's About Us, where he says Vlad TV is the world's leading source of celebrity interviews and urban news. Our exclusive daily content provides the hard-hitting interviews from your favorite urban artists, actors, athletes, and cultural figures. If it's making noise in the culture, we're providing the information, education, and commentary from unique voices in the community, past or present. So again, not seeing the connection between Michael Thompson and hip hop or the urban community. This guy was raised on a reservation, I believe, somewhere in California, out west. He's an Aryan Nation member or ex-member, and admitted white supremacist, even if it's formerly. You know, just because you're not attached any longer to a white supremacist group, that doesn't mean that your views have changed. It just means your associations and your affiliations have changed. So how is this something that benefits in any way or provide any entertainment value for your subscribers, Vlad? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And you never did answer the question. You know, your site is clearly described as a hip hop site. You said if it's popping in the urban community, then you're on it. I don't think Michael Thompson is popping in the urban community. It's not making noise in the culture. You know? But you said you didn't want to interview Andrew Tate. And I would say that an Andrew Tate interview would be much more relevant to the culture than Michael Thompson. I could think of a few figures you could interview. You know? Why don't you interview FG? Since you like bringing warring factions on your show. Bring Alex Alonso on the show. You know, these are two people that come to mind. You know, but here, you know, this is what Vlad is doing. I guess this is his attempt to broaden his horizons and not solely feed off of hip hop. But I just don't think this is the platform. You kind of painted yourself into a corner. So, yeah, this might not have been the best look. And apparently there's some pushback on Black Twitter. Like I say, Mike Baggs put this up. Well, he put this up on yesterday. Okay. Yeah. So here we are. You guys hop down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Smash like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. This is your man online, Bill Money, signing off. I'll see you on the other side.
Huh?